Hi, it's Rosa Media Know Your Teacher. Today we are with the business studies teacher as is here to speak on the importance of business studies on our daily lives. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Please, can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Bello Abib Babatunde. I'm a secondary school junior, Shagamu, Ogun State.
What impact does business study have on an individual becoming a successful business person?
Let me start by talking about business generally. When we say business, each and every one of us are familiar with the word business. Business means any work we do to satisfy our needs and wants, and for which money is being paid. But when we say business studies, it's the studies of activities. It's the study of activities that leads to satisfaction of wants. But let me put it this way. It's the study of method and techniques for setting up and running a business venture profitably. Like we all know, every businessman, 99% of businessmen have one objective, and that objective is to make profits. And for you to determine how to make profit in your business activities, you need the knowledge of business studies. And let me go further. Business studies encompasses around everything we do as normal human beings. Let's take, for instance, productive activities. You know, production has to do with creation of utilities. Why utilities means satisfaction of wants. Before you can satisfy people, you need to provide some things for them. For example, as an entrepreneur or a businessman that want to sell a particular product, you must sell something that will satisfy the needs and people and wants of the people before they can buy from you. That's when we are talking about the channel of distribution, producer, wholesaler, retailer, and the final consumer. If you look at those four channels, they revolve around our daily activities. Let's say, for example, Shagamu as a community. Everybody, almost everybody, want to engage in one business or the other because they want to provide for themselves and their families.
So how do we know what business will thrive in a particular environment?
Before you can say a particular business is going to thrive in a particular environment, you need to consider some things. For example, you need to study your environment to realize or determine what do they need. You don't just dabble into any type of business without taking into consideration the needs of the people in that particular environment. Sometimes ago, the only means of transportation in Shagamu was taxi. I mean public transport. Taxi. But as time goes on, the businessmen, let me say, those who involve in transportation business realize that they are not making enough profit. They went for tricycle, which we normally call Marua. If you look at it today, many people want to go into that business because they are generating income and they are able to provide for their customers. That is how you determine how you can, the type of business you want to establish in a particular environment. When I go to Shagamu, I realized that the main business many people in Shagamu specialized in was in kola nuts. Let me say it to Yoruba, Obi làwọn Shagamu máa ń ṣe. But as time goes on, you know, things are changing every day. Many entrepreneurs in Shagamu want to go into real estate and this thing.
How do we identify our target audience and how do we reach them accordingly?
Thank you. The question you are trying to ask me is that as a businessman, how can we reach our targets?
Yes.
It has stage. That brings us to what you call channel of distribution. As a businessman, if you want to go into the business, you are the producer, you must identify the wholesaler, the people that will distribute this product on your behalf, that will buy it in bulk. Then the wholesaler will look for the retailer, because retailers are the closest to the community. From retailer, the goods will now get to the final consumer. But look at these 4 stages. The most important person in the chain of distribution is the final consumer. That is the target of every entrepreneur or businessman. Once consumer accepts your products, you will have no problem. But once the consumer rejects your product, you are in trouble, because there is nothing the wholesaler and retailer can do without the consumer. You know, as a producer, your own is to produce products. When you produce this product, based on your own taste, based on what you think people needs, you produce the product. Having produced the product, when that product gets to the final consumer, you must go back to them to get the feedback that maybe they complain and some adjustment they want you to do. If you follow the guideline and instruction given to you by your consumer, by the consumer, you'll be able to meet their needs and aspiration. But for you to meet your target, you will need those people as well. That's when I was talking about the wholesaler and the retailers, because they are the one that will distribute the goods to the final consumer. You know, when the goods get to the wholesaler, you know, when we say wholesaler is a middleman that buys goods in large quantities and sells in small quantities to the retailer. The retailer buys in small quantities from the wholesaler and sells in units to the final consumer. When we say a consumer, is an individual or corporate individual that is only interested in consumption. They buy those goods for their personal consumption. They are not selling. Once the goods get to the consumer is not selling again. He wants to consume. Are you getting me? Once the consumer consumes the product and they like it, there will be no problem. But if they want some kind of adjustment, the consumer will complain. Yeah, madam, this pure water is not good enough. They are chemical conversion. Maybe they should reduce the chemical. The wholesaler will disseminate the information to the wholesaler. Once that information gets to the wholesaler, the information will go from the wholesaler to the producers.
Please, can you explain the importance of record or bookkeeping in business?
Yes. When we say, when I was talking about business stories, we have major components of business stories. We have office parties, shorthand, bookkeeping, account, and commerce. But when we say bookkeeping is the systematic record of financial transactions. There is no business that can survive without bookkeeping. You need to take records of your daily financial transaction. That's when we are talking about the journal. Are you getting me?
Yes.
When you take the record will guide you to determine the area of strength and weaknesses of your business. It is from the bookkeeping record that you'll be able to know whether you are making profit or you are making loss. It is from the bookkeeping record that will tell you whether some people somewhere in your organization are trying to manipulate. In the business organization these days, you cannot do everything by yourself. You employ people to work for you. If they want to misappropriate the account, bookkeeping will help you to detect error. It will help you to detect fraud. Once you detect fraud and realize that the fraud is coming from this angle, you'll be able to block the leakage. That is the essence of bookkeeping. Bookkeeping centered around records of financial transactions.
That was a very interesting and a very educative section with Mr. Bello. Now you know the importance of bookkeeping. You don't just go about your daily business without keeping record. You keep record to know if you are making loss or making gain. We'll be back in next week with another teacher to enlighten us on a different subject. My name is Damilola Ojojo.